Alright, hello! In today's video, I'm going to be doing a Mayuri showcase and build guide. Mayuri is a thrust support unit that primarily buffs ailment damage teams. He can work with non-ailment damage, but he won't perform as well. So you definitely want to run him with ailment, so his best team is the Nell and Gin team. He can work with Kenpachi as well, but you do want to do Nell and Gin for maximum efficiency and maximum damage. So let's talk about his kit here. His kit is pretty simple. He is a support. Most important part of his kit is his passive, the poison scale. Now Mayuri's attacks, techniques, and ultimate will apply poison, similar to like Gin's impale scale. And when poison does proc, you gain a stack of excitement, and with each stack of excitement you get 7.5% ailment mastery, and it can stack up to 3 times, and if you have boundary 1 it can stack up to 4 times. And with his technique, he kind of has multiple versions of this. He has a heal version, he has one where he freezes the enemies and they take more damage, and he has one that just does damage, inflicts the enemies with poison, and reduces their spiritual pressure. In most scenarios, you are just going to be doing one of the two, either the superhuman potion, which is the freeze, or the flesh bomb. You usually never get the healing one, because this only procs when your team members are below 70% HP. So if they're not, this will never show up. But then you also have the double-barreled version of the technique. This is the technique that happens when you have full spiritual pressure. This one essentially combines the two, superhuman potion and flesh bomb, into one attack, but without the time freeze that superhuman potion gives you. And for this, you don't really have to worry about doing the right one, as just building up your spiritual pressure and using your technique will eventually do all of them, or at least all of them except for the heal, which you don't really need the heal, especially if you're running Nell on your team. And then as for his ultimate, he throws out the big baby, and after the baby comes down, it leaves a poison pool on the ground that constantly ticks enemies, which is super good for Gin's impale. It'll proc his impale very easily with that pool, and it lasts for like 25 seconds, which if you have enough ultimate charge rate, you can keep this pool up almost permanently. But the most important thing about his ult is that after you use it, it also buffs the entire team. It gives the entire team all skill mastery, which just pretty much buffs, you know, your basic attacks, special attacks, techniques, battlefield skill, ultimates, and counters. Pretty much most of their damage except for their ailment. As for the attack, it's kind of the same. There is a special attack that you can do if you tap the basic attack after releasing a technique. It just summons Nemu, so keep that in mind, that you always want to press your basic attack after you do the technique. And as for the passives here, they're mostly just passive boost for Mayuri himself. The first one gives you ultimate charge rate, second one just gives you more ailment damage, and the third one, actually the third one is for teammates as well. The third one is probably the most important one, because whenever your teammates trigger, or whenever anyone triggers a debuff or an ailment damage, they gain 100% crit damage. And if you have his core stamp here, it will additionally increase that 100% crit damage to 180%, and it'll go even higher. It can go, I think, up to 260 if you have the core stamp max dupe. And speaking of the core stamp, the other part of it as well, for each stack of excitement, it also gives you an extra 5% attack for the entire team. So the core stamp, definitely if you can get dupes on it, do it. As for the weapon stamp, I would recommend picking it up because it does let you ult immediately and let you use your technique with maximum spiritual pressure at the beginning of the battle, which is super nice. And it also increases that all skill mastery by an extra 5% and the ailment mastery by an extra 10%. So you definitely want to pick up both the weapon and the core stamp here. And another thing I'll talk about as well real quick is when it comes to the boundary, specifically B4. As B4 lets it so that the entire team gains bonus ailment damage based on Mayuri's ultimate charge rate, which if you have this, your build for your stamps might differ a bit. So let's talk about the stamps here. So for the stamps, you want to use his set stamp, the sample collection. Now, Mayuri is a support, so Like, getting perfect stamps is not really necessary for him. I would say the only thing that you really need to focus on is the ultimate charge rate, and then after that is ailment damage. Ultimate charge rate, you just want to have it so that you can have your ult buff and the poison pool like just permanently up. That's pretty much it. But aside from that, you don't really, you can do attack, but it's not really necessary. At the end of the day, Mayuri as a support, he's not meant to do damage, you know? But for the first one here, you can run attack. Second one, you can also run attack, or you can do crit rate. Again, like, those stats are kind of for damage, and Mayuri's a support, you know? So it doesn't really matter, I'll be honest. They're not, like, getting these perfect is not as important as the tactic or the full assault units. But for the third one, this one, you do want ailment damage, or like I said, if you have B4 Mayuri, you want ultimate charge rate here. But for me, I'm running ailment damage. This is the setup that I have. I have 2 ultimate charge rate, 1 ultimate charge rate here, and then none here. And with this setup, I've kind of figured out that I can still get my ultimate pretty easily and have it permanently up. And as for the substats, focus, again, if you have B4, focus on ultimate charge rate. If not, then you'd want to do ailment damage, then ultimate charge rate, and then attack and crit rate or crit damage. Again, doing damage on this character is not really the priority. Upkeeping the buffs is, so keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it for the build. Okay, and as for the rotations, he is a support unit, so kind of like Kisuke, his rotations are not that complex. There's not really much variety to them. The only thing I would want to keep in mind is that whenever you do the technique, for example, and then you send out Nemu and you ult right afterwards, I kind of realized that Nemu disappears and she doesn't do her full combo that applies the poison. So I would want to keep that in mind. So essentially what you want to do is just either ult first, and then do the technique and Nemu afterwards, or you can do the technique, ult, and then send Nemu out. And another thing to keep in mind during the rotations, like Kisuke, is that you don't want to do any type of auto attacks. Whenever you switch into Mayuri, just do your technique and send out Nemu, and then switch out. And of course, if you have ult, pop your ult as well. And aside from that, another thing I would recommend is to just keep a look over here on the top right. You can see this white diamond, which means that this character's technique is up. That's kind of a good sign to switch into Mayuri, is whenever his technique is up, because you want to be spamming his technique constantly to get both the poison and the excitement stacks going, and to charge up his ultimate so that you don't miss the ultimate buff and it runs out. And one more thing I want to add for the rotations as well, just to let you guys know, is that whenever you do send out Nemu, you can just switch off immediately. But aside from that, that's pretty much it. Mayuri is probably the best support that we have so far, at least for ailment damage. Comparing this team's damage versus having Kisuke in here, it's night and day. Like in Guild Quest, I was doing like 60-70 million with Kisuke in this team, but now with Mayuri, I'm doing like 150 mil. So it is a pretty big difference. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.